Should you come to Chisinau, Moldova? In today's video, guys, I'm going to be breaking down the dating scene over in Moldova as a foreigner. How are you going to get treated? Is it actually worth you heading over to Moldova in order to date beautiful Moldovan girls? I'm also going to be talking about my own dating life whilst I was over there and my own experience in the country overall. So let's begin. Now, I've actually spent 2 months in Moldova last summer. I just like to go to these like crazy places that not a lot of people really know about. Moldova is actually the least visited country in Europe, and it's also the cheapest. So prices are going to be very much affordable. However, it does actually cost quite a lot of money to get there. There aren't many flights that actually even fly to Moldova. So sometimes you have to like fly over to Poland or fly to England and then get like a, direct route, for example, from like Luton or something. It's very hard to even get there. But once you're over there, it is very cheap. Like, I believe my apartment was about £500 a month, which is, guys, that's kind of like Asia standard. And it was like a 1-bedroom apartment, pretty decent. And then food wise, I wouldn't be complaining, guys. Like 5-star restaurants, I could have a steak for like 16-17 pounds. Like, it's absolutely crazy. So life over there is definitely not expensive, but it is very hard to get certain items. Like if you want a shop, you have to go over to Romania. You have to literally cross borders just to do some shopping. The country itself is very neglected, I would say. It's very interesting to see it. And it's going to be a massive difference to somewhere like Romania that is like clean, it's a lot more developed, and you can actually have a decent lifestyle over there. I think to live in Moldova permanently, it's not really a place that I would like to live in. Pretty much every single person that I spoke to, even like guys, like I spoke to this one taxi driver and he was like, bro, my dream is to get a Romanian passport and get out of here. So not many people actually wanted to live there. And I don't think that's a good thing overall, because you want to be in a country where people actually like. So pretty much anyone I spoke to was like telling me how they just want to get out of here. They don't actually want to stay here. And that's definitely a red flag. Now let's talk about dating, because that's what you came here for. So how receptive are the girls to foreigners, and how difficult of a dating market is it over in Chisinau, Moldova? Now, I've also actually been to a place called Bender. Very funny, but that's what it's called. So let me just have a look really quick, guys, on the maps. And this place is super tiny, guys. There's not really much to see except like the fortress. And then there was actually another city in Moldova, well, small little town I would say, called Bauti, and that's like the second biggest town in Moldova. But as far as how friendly people are in Moldova, I would say it like this: majority of the people in Moldova I still remember this one girl that was holding a bucket of flowers, and she walked past me and my friend, and she literally just like threw the flowers into the trash can, and I was just like, what the hell is going on? If I was to describe how most women are going to be in Moldova, they're going to be like that. Not very appreciative, not very friendly, I would say. It's going to be a very difficult dating market, guys. It's not going to be an easy dating market. I would say from every country that I've been in, and I've been to over 42 countries as of making this video, I would say that Moldova and Ukraine as well included is probably the hardest place for dating. Like when it comes to hookups, normal dates, actually just like even getting a girl's number, those 3 things, okay, are going to be the hardest to do in Moldova, like without a shadow of a doubt. I don't know any other dating market that is that difficult. And it's funny because all of these guys that are coming over to Moldova are thinking like, oh, these girls are poor, they want to be saved, they want to date a foreigner, they want to get out of it. Guys, those days are gone. Every single chick nowadays that is actually hot has loads of followers on Instagram. Every guy wants her attention. She's getting DMs from guys from America. Like, it's absolutely crazy. I met girls over there that had like over 150k followers just from being pretty. Like, they know they're hot. It's not a big deal to them that you're some foreigner with a passport and you're coming over. So don't even be thinking that Moldova is going to be like this passport bro safe haven destination for all of you guys, because you're gonna come over and you're gonna be very disappointed, guys. You're not gonna like it. Like, you're gonna get rejected like crazy. I think Moldova is probably I would actually say Moldova is even worse than Ukraine as far as like rejection goes, like getting the girls' numbers. I think overall, like to actually progress from, you know, to move things forward from the date, you know, to something more serious is going to be quicker in Moldova. I think Ukrainians just take so much time. But Ukrainian girls, I would say, are a lot more friendly. Moldovan girls are very, very cold, I would say. Kind of like, you know, similar to Russians. But I'm not talking about Russians in Bali, I'm talking about actual Russians in Russia. So yeah, when it comes to difficulty, guys, I would say very, very difficult dating market. Most girls that I spoke to, especially on the streets or here, like cold approach, you're gonna get rejected like crazy. Like I would get maybe one number in, I don't know, how many, 10, 20, 30 women I would have to approach to just get one number. Like it was crazy. Now don't get me wrong, I still did okay. I very quickly adjusted to how the Moldovan girls were, and you know, I just basically had to do a lot more volume and I had to step my game up. That's all it is, you know. It's like you don't just complain and sit here and make a video about how, you know, you got rejected by Moldovan girls. No, you keep going. That's what a lot of you guys don't get, is like these so-called passport bros that come on here and they just like to complain about, you know, every single country, how bad it is. It's like, yes, there are going to be differences in every single country that you go to when it comes to dating, but it shouldn't be like this one guy I saw a video of. He was like, oh, I just want to go to a country where I don't have to use any game, I don't have to improve myself whatsoever, I just show up and that's it, here I am, and I don't have to do anything. The girls should just come to me and beg for my attention. Guys, that approach is not going to get you anywhere, and that approach could actually work in a place like maybe Philippines or something, but even then you're not going to get the highest quality women, bro, because the really hot Filipinos, they're not going to fucking chase after you. You're out of shape, you have no charisma, you have no game. So these guys that just travel for that purpose, like they don't want to do any work on themselves, this is where they go wrong, and this is where they really mess up, guys, because you're simply limiting yourself to dating like super low quality women, and you don't want to be around that. So I would say that, you know, with Moldova, it's not going to be for the weak. You have to actually have some game, you have to have your shit together before you even enter Moldova, because it's going to be super difficult. And even when you get these girls' numbers, like they're going to be flaky as well. They might not show up. You're not from here. A lot of the girls would be asking me questions like, what are you even doing here? Like, why are you here? So if you don't even have a business being in Moldova, that's going to be a red flag to them. They're going to be like, why did you come here? What, to just try to pick up chicks? So you have to really adjust to the dating market, guys. I think if you are going to come to Moldova for dating, you have to stay there for a couple of months at least. You know, it's not a place for these so-called weekend warriors that just come over for the Friday, Saturday night and they're thinking they're going to get laid. I mean, guys, if you're trying to do all that stuff, go to the Western Europe, go somewhere like Germany, Switzerland, all of those countries, UK. Don't be trying to do that shit in Eastern Europe. It's just not going to work, and you're going to be very disappointed because you're not actually going to get the highest quality women. I'll tell you like this, every single girl from Eastern Europe is raised in a way where they get slut shamed for doing something like that. Okay, so they don't really want to be participating in hookup culture. And yes, they go out. It doesn't mean that all of these girls are hooking up with random guys every single day. That is definitely not the case. A lot of guys come to Moldova and they just get disappointed. They leave. Okay, this one guy actually left within 2 days. He came and he was gonna stay for 10 days. I think he was from Austria. I met him in one of the bars. And he was like, oh bro, you from England, da 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 da. We sat chatting, and then he was like, bro, the girls here are just like, yes, they'll speak to you and stuff, but like I had no success, and I ended up paying for this one chick. And I was like, bro, what the fuck? So this is the thing, guys. Anywhere you go, you can find pay for play, and you can definitely find it in Moldova, you can find it in Ukraine, you can find it anywhere. There is no skill set to that. So these guys are coming over and they're just basically for sex tourism. That's what it is. They're paying for it though, and it's like you're never gonna get true feminine attention, like the girl that actually wants you for you and is devoted to you with paying. You're never gonna get that. So get it out of your head thinking like, oh, you pay one way or the other, you pay for the dinner, you pay for the wine or whatever. Guys, these excuses are just like getting absolutely ridiculous. Just because you don't want to approach a girl and you don't know how to actually get laid with females, you should not resort to paying for it, okay? Because you're setting yourself up for failure. As far as these girls are just using you for money, there is no emotional connection there. They don't care about you, they don't like you. All they want is your money. That's it. So anyway, this guy actually ended up going over to Ukraine, and he said he had a lot more success there, and I would 100% agree with that statement. Ukraine, you will have slightly more success. The girls are going to be slightly more receptive than somewhere like Moldova. Is it going to be easy to sleep with Ukrainian girls? Fuck no. It's going to be very difficult. Most of the time, the girls won't even get intimate on a second, maybe third date. I was dating this one Ukrainian girl in Poland. After 3 dates, I got a kiss on their cheek, and they just like to move slow. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, for me, it's like, I don't care about that. Some of you guys are super impatient. I don't care. I can play the long game as long as the girl is actually worth it. It doesn't really matter for me how quickly I sleep with the girl. At the end of the day, I don't look for, that's not like a quality that I look for. I look more for connection, personality, like how well I actually get on with the girl. That doesn't really have any impact on like, or whether the girl is a slut because she slept with me, a few days earlier than the other one. That does not even matter at all, in the slightest. So to add to that point, very difficult to date a market. Even when you go out at night time, it's going to be very difficult to pull girls, okay, or to meet girls. I went out to several bars and nightclubs, and I'll just tell you that it's not easy. And most of the people that are actually out, it's all mostly social circle and friends. So that's the only country I would actually say that having a social circle really works in your favor. I quickly realized this, and I've actually made friends with this one Moldovan guy because I could tell that it's a lot easier if the guy introduces me, or I have some friends here from Moldova. Straight away I stand out. I'm not just like some foreigner that is passing by. I actually live here and I'm more immersed in the culture. I think the fact that I'm from Poland and I also speak a little bit of Russian did help me a little bit. So here and there, I would get like some friendly girl that would actually stop and want to have a chat. And usually those girls were younger, so they kind of wanted to speak English, they wanted to get to know me. I would get the numbers, but in general I would say like they're very careful and they're very, not suspicious maybe, but like they're just not as, it's not going to be as fluid as like meeting someone, I don't know, in Poland or in UK. They're kind of like, why are you here? Like every single time I would get this, like, why are you in Moldova? Like nobody likes this country. Nobody wants to live in Chisinau. Like I'm trying to get out of here. Why did you come here for a holiday? And I would say the girls that were the most receptive to actually meeting me and dating me were actually foreigners that lived in Moldova. So I actually ended up meeting 2 Ukrainian girls that lived over in Moldova, and they escaped the war. They didn't want to stay in a war zone, and they just decided to come to Moldova. And I also met one girl from Azerbaijan, which I didn't even know what that country was before I met her. Like I had no idea, I had no clue. I had to Google it and everything, and yeah, she was super friendly, like very friendly, and also super hot. And then of course Moldovan girls, they were younger, they spoke English a little bit more, were more willing to actually meet me and date me. So that's the girls that I would say are most receptive to actually dating foreigners. As far as the personalities of an average Moldovan girl, is going to be very ruthless. Like they just don't really care. Like that girl that you saw walking with the flowers and just like bin in it, and just walking away, that's how they are. They don't care about men, most of them. They're just like, very serious people, I would say, in general. Don't really want to talk a lot of the times. You get rejected quite a lot. They don't really show much of a personality. It just depends on, obviously, the girl that you meet. But I would say in general, that was my experience. So like, they weren't happy people. They weren't like, hello, how are you? And all of this. Like when you go to Latin American countries, most of the girls are really fucking happy to speak to you. They'll smile and, they'll stop and say hi to you. A lot of these girls, like, you say hi to them, they just fucking keep walking, So that's the kind of experience you can expect when you come to Moldova. And I think that's just the culture. Poland can be like that as well sometimes, so I do understand the culture. I don't expect these girls to be, super happy 24/7 just because they see my face, okay? Flakiness, yeah, I would say very flaky. Most girls are super flaky in Moldova. The slightest thing could come up and they're just not going to show up. As far as prostitution, you're not going to see any of that unless you actually go and look for it. Now, what about gold diggers? Because everyone wants to know about the gold diggers. Like, you know, will I meet a genuine girl that's not interested in money alone and just me? I think in general, guys, Eastern Europe, not just Moldova, you go to Russia, anywhere else, Ukraine, these girls want to have a provider. So someone that has some sort of money. You have to at least do better than her, you know, be able to provide, because these girls want family. Believe it or not, most of these girls marry pretty young. They want to have kids pretty young, and they're just looking for someone that can provide that. If you can't provide that, I wouldn't even come to Moldova in the first place. Definitely don't expect women here to pay for your dates. They're not going to pay for any of the dates. There is no 50-50 like you have in the West. That's not going to be a thing, okay? So don't even come here with that mentality, because you're going to come in for a big surprise. Now, when it comes to the average attractiveness in Moldova, is absolutely crazy. I think there is not a single place on this planet that I have been in where I just seen very beautiful women everywhere. Like, when it comes to the ratio, guys, like the ratio of beautiful women compared to the rest of the people, like everywhere when you're walking around on the street. Like, I would go to this one restaurant, 5-star restaurant that has like the best food in Moldova, in Chisinau, and it's just like hot girls everywhere. On every single table there was a hot chick sitting there. Like, I was amazed how many beautiful women there were. Like, you could literally go for any girl there and you'll be pretty happy, you know? It's like, you don't really get that in many countries. I think the only countries I would say that have that is probably going to be somewhere like Colombia and Moldova, honestly. Like, any other country I've been in, the ratios just don't match Moldova. It's crazy. Now, when it comes to like the most beautiful women, I wouldn't say that Moldovan girls are like the most beautiful. I would say that girls from Belarus and Ukraine tend to be slightly more attractive, but you're not going to see as many good-looking girls in Ukraine. Like, in Ukraine, you're going to see people that are obese. You're going to see girls that are very, you know, below average attractiveness, even just walking around on the street. You're going to see some that are like stunners, but the average attractiveness, as far as like the ratio goes, Moldova definitely wins. It's like absolutely insane. I haven't seen any like obesity as well, which is crazy. Even though they have McDonald's there, you know, like they still keep the physiques very good. Like, everybody goes to the gym, they take care of themselves, they go for running. Funny fact about Moldova, guys, when you go to the gym, you have to bring 2 different pairs of shoes. So you're not allowed to walk in with your own pairs of shoes. You have to have like your trainers that you use for the gym, which is crazy. I didn't even know that. Next up, femininity. How feminine are they? I would say very similar, pretty much the same as any other Russian girl. Okay, nothing more, nothing less. When it comes to, can you actually find a wife here in Moldova? Can you find a long-term relationship? You definitely can, but it's not going to be easy. I would recommend, if you're going to come over to Moldova, you come for a couple of months at least. You build some sort of a social circle, so you're not in the city, or you have some sort of social media presence, okay? So it's a little bit easier for you, because it's not going to be an easy dating market. If you are going to be going out by yourself, like solo here, and trying to pick up chicks during the day, you're going to be getting rejected left, right and center. Believe me, it's not going to be easy. And when you go out to nightclubs, you know, everyone is in groups, okay? So it's not going to be like easy for you to meet new people, okay? You have to know people when you come to Moldova. And one thing that a lot of guys like to talk about online is like, oh, Moldova is super dangerous. Like, you know, you come here, you're gonna get jumped by all these men, because they know exactly why you're here. There is nothing here but hot chicks, so they know exactly what you came here for. Every single guy is going to be super defensive. Did I get that experience? I don't think so. Like, the only time I had it, maybe like once, when I was with some Moldovan girl and I was walking around. And no, sorry, I was with an Azerbaijan girl and I was walking around. I was passing the traffic lights, and some Moldovan guys behind me were like chatting shit basically, and they were like staring me down and shit. And I spoke to this girl I was with, and I was like, what's the deal with these guys? And she was like, oh, it's just Moldovan guys are super jealous and that, like, that's just how it is. But then I made friends with Moldovan guys as well, so it's not like all of these guys are like that. But yes, they do tend to be very nationalistic, and you know, I don't have a problem with that. So this is one thing to consider if you come here, and especially if you're like flexing a lot, and you know, you're putting all these Moldovan girls and shit, and you're flexing, like you're showing you have money and you're showing off quite a lot. yeah, you might have some issues. But if you come here with respect, you're on a date with a girl, nothing bad is gonna happen to you. Like, no one's gonna beat you up. No one's beat me up in Moldova, okay? I've been there for like literally 2 months, you know, going to the gym, going on dates, running, you know, enjoying the food and just like checking the place out. I thought it was a pretty good trip that I did over in last summer. Now, before we end this video, guys, I'm gonna quickly share how to actually meet Moldovan girls when you go over there. So number one is going to be cold approach. That is going to be king. So cold approaching during the day, you know, you're gonna have to go through quite a lot of girls, but you will get success, trust me, I did. And you know, it might be a little bit painful because a lot of the girls are married, they don't want to talk, that's fine, just move on and just go to the next one. As long as you're respectable and you're approaching them in the right way, you're not pushy, okay, you're not creepy, you're gonna be absolutely fine. Also, make sure when you actually come in here, guys, you know, dress classy, try to fit in, don't be wearing tracksuits and stuff, that's not attractive over here. So make sure you take care of your appearance 100%. Second way, the best way I would say to meet is going to be a social circle with Instagram, okay? So Instagram game, make sure you have a good Instagram profile that you've spent time on and you actually built it up to a reasonable profile. If your Instagram sucks, unfortunately, you're not going to get as good of a result. Also, when you're meeting girls on like Tinder or Hinge, yes, you can meet the girls on Tinder and Hinge. They're not going to be the best quality, okay? So over here in Moldova, they're not going to be good quality. You can meet really hot girls, believe it or not, on Tinder and Hinge, places like Bali, Phuket, but you're not going to be able to meet them in Moldova. Like, any girl that's like 8 and above is not going to be on Tinder. So unfortunately, you know, I hate to break it to you, but yeah, you're not going to get these sort of like model looking girls on Tinder. Most of these girls, what they're looking for is a long-term relationship. Like, I have not come across a single girl here, not single one that just wanted a hookup. Like, yes, they would hook up maybe after a couple of dates, but they are dating for long term, okay? Like, they want to actually get a boyfriend at the end of it. They actually want to have kids, have a family. They're not just dating like you're dating in the West. So yeah, if you don't have balls, don't come to Moldova, because it's not a place for the weak. Like, the hottest girl I've met so far in Moldova was actually from Azerbaijan, and it's funny because I had to approach her on the bus station. She was actually waiting for a bus, and this is like the most silent bus station I've ever been on. Like, I'm literally walking down, it's super silent, there's not a single sound coming out, and it's like probably about 10 people like waiting for the bus, and this chick is just like standing there. She's got a nice ass, you know, just beautiful girl, very, very beautiful. And I'm like, fuck, I have to like come up with some excuse to go speak to her. So there was like a kiosk next to the bus station. I bought a water, my friend was walking, and we had the camera with us because we're doing like street interviews. And by the way, that's another thing, nobody wanted to be in my street interviews, like not a single girl. So that was very difficult as well. Like, filming over there is super hard because most of these girls don't want to be on film, they don't want to, you know, be in a street interview. It was very hard for me to find people that would actually consent to filming. So that was another thing, and that's kind of like the reason why I left as well. But anyway, I speak to this girl, and yeah, like, I start chatting to her and everybody's looking at me. Like, obviously I don't fucking care, I don't give a fuck about that, but I would just say to you, like, as a newbie, if you come in here, you don't have much experience like actually speaking to girls, you're gonna be in a lot of pressure because every guy will be looking at you, and if you start like stuttering, or you know, you just say the wrong thing, the girl is gonna fucking reject you, and most of these people would just either laugh or they would actually even beat you up, because they might be like, why are you speaking to this girl, why are you harassing her, you know? So you have to have game, you have to know exactly what to do, how to come in smooth, you know, make her laugh and make her comfortable. This has to be done the right way, otherwise you're not gonna succeed. So I actually ended up grabbing a number and dating this girl successfully. But I would say that yeah, the most success I had in Moldova was actually girls that were foreign, not from Moldova. And I also had some success with Moldovan girls as well, and of course Ukrainian girls. And you know, the reason why I left, guys, as well, is that, you know, I didn't want to give a lot of these girls false hope, because most of these girls were like actually falling in love with me after like a few weeks of dating. They're very quick to fall in love, and you know, I'm not there for that reason. Like, I'm still young, I still want to travel a little bit and, you know, have fun, and then soon hopefully I'll be ready to settle down. But it's like, at that time I still didn't want to do that, and you know, I'll be getting messages from these girls like, you know, I'm in love with you, I want to see you again, and blah blah blah. So I kind of started to feel really bad about this, and this is kind of why I left. So that's another thing, guys. If you are going to go over there, like, don't lead these girls on, because they actually are looking for a long-term relationship. So if you can't give them that, you know, don't keep on prolonging the relationship. You know, end it and tell them what is the deal. That's pretty much it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did make it to the end, like this video, comment down below, let me know your thoughts. Get the Maximize Your Dating course down below, link in bio. That is it. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.